So you've compiled a checklist of wanting to off-road. You have the gear, which we don't. You have the proper vehicle, this 2023 Ford Bronco Raptor, but you don't have the slightest idea of what you're doing.
Yeah, see, a lot of people out there do know that a Bronco is, four-wheel drive, of course, has these big off-road mud terrain tires, which is a bad idea because we're, like you can see, a bunch of snow.
We're not in mud.
And a huge suspension lift, 37-inch tires, all that stuff. But the problem is you don't really understand how any of that stuff works. And a lot of people out there don't know what four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, what any of that stuff is. And I think today, especially in this terrain and the perfect car, it's a great time to show you what all of those different drivetrains really do and what they mean. So that's what we're bringing you today. Today, we're going to explain to you what all of those hard to understand terms for the layman out there really mean. I'm Aiden.
I'm Ivo.
You're watching GaudinX. All right, so tell us a little more about what we have here today representing this.
We've done it correctly here today, because if you're coming out in terrain like this, and I mean, people in the north are going to watch this and they're going to be like, you guys think that's a lot of snow?
No, it's
we
not.
got about,
but...
according to this guy we saw in a side-by-side, he said about 6 inches of snow. Now, we've kind of gone a little bit overboard because honestly, you could come here in a regular Bronco and be fine.
Oh, yeah.
But this right here is a 2023 Ford Bronco Raptor, cactus gray, big 37-inch mud tires, which as you said earlier, are great for mud, but for this,
it can cause a little bit of issues in the snow, but that's besides the point. What really matters is this vehicle is probably one of the most capable vehicles on the market today, whether it's against a Jeep, a Ford F-150 Raptor, because of this thing's size. I think it was perfect for this application. Of course, this thing has plenty of drive modes. This thing has plenty of drivetrain modes and everything like that. Of course, you're going to have the normal ones like rear-wheel drive, which is two-wheel high. You're going to have four-wheel low, four-wheel automatic, and four-wheel high. And we'll get into what those mean and how they differ from something like, a BMW or a Mercedes with all-wheel drive or something like that, SUVs or cars. So yeah, we think that this was the perfect thing. If you want to see the specs or anything about this car, we do have a review of the Ford Bronco Raptor that you can go see right after this video. But yeah, I think we should jump into this thing and really put it to the test.
Let's explore this trail and see if, let's see what the Raptor's made out of.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're in the Bronco Raptor. We've strapped in, which you should always wear your seatbelt. We're going to start it off with two-wheel drive, which is essentially how you're mostly going to drive this car 99% of the time, unless you live in the mountains and you need constant four-wheel drive. But two-wheel drive, essentially what it is, you have the engine in the front, gearbox, and then of course you have your drive shaft that connects to the rear diff. Yeah. All the power from the engine is being sent to the rear wheels. So the only wheels that are really spinning, moving the car, are the rears. So this is not what you should use off-road. We're just in a controlled area here, so we're going to demonstrate how it works. I think the Bronco's going to be fine because of the big mud tires. Yeah. But if you were in something like a regular Bronco with regular tires, it might not move. It might just spin.
Yes. So. All right, well,
let's see.
There's a GoPro on the outside checking the tires, so you guys will be able to see what it's like back there. See if we get any slippage.
So it's actually moving not bad.
No, I think
I didn't think it was gonna have a problem anyways, honestly, if I'm being honest with you.
It's not that deep of snow. There's pre-made tracks already. Really, in this situation, four-wheel drive gives you the ability.
Oh, see, there it
is. Oh,
there
it goes. Okay, yeah.
Oh, it's spinning, yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely got some.
I don't think we're gonna be able to get out of here in two-wheel drive. I mean, we could try it, but I highly doubt it.
You just want to avoid hitting anything on the side.
Yeah, see, it's just spinning.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's just spinning. So
putting it in reverse is an even better idea, just in case.
Well, we had to, Oh yeah, this thing's a beast. Oh, there it is. You feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just spinning. So now we're gonna jump over to four-wheel drive.
You want to do four-wheel automatic first?
We're gonna do four high.
Okay.
In this specific car.
So when you switch to four-wheel drive from two-wheel drive in a four-wheel drive vehicle, of course you can see now we're moving without having any issues. What happens is there is a transfer case in between the drive line and the transmission that is basically able to shift power to whether you're going in a whether you're in a two-wheel drive configuration or a four-wheel drive. Basically what happens when you go into four-wheel high, or any four-wheel drive just in general, that transfer case now starts sending power to the front wheels. And in this situation, as you can see, we went from slipping back there and not being able to get any traction at all to now the front wheels are also, and that front axle is also assisting us in getting up this pretty slippery and muddy hill. So that is why, of course, you have four-wheel drive. Now, he said we're in four-wheel high. What does that high mean? That is basically a high range mode. Now, you have automatic, low, and high. Now, for high's purposes, basically, four-wheel automatic wasn't something that was always in cars in the past. You either had four-wheel high or low, and most people know that. Not all four-wheel drive cars even come with automatic. But that high...
That's a new thing.
Four-wheel automatic is a fairly new thing. Now, four-wheel high basically allows you to use the higher gears to be able to move. And then, of course, there is four-wheel L, or four-wheel low range mode, where it keeps you in the lower gears to increase your torque output. That way you can get out of stickier situations. But in the high range mode, that's basically using higher gears. There's less torque output, more horsepower output in that situation. Now, we're still in four-wheel high, and the car is moving fine. In this situation, four-wheel low isn't necessary, but if you're going into, let's say, if you're rock crawling and you need to get up somewhere, or you're in a lot of mud, you would actually switch to four-wheel low to increase your torque output, and which keeps and it also keeps it in the lower gears. That way it can rev higher, and it locks it into those gears and get out of stickier situations.
Now, it is important to mention that it's very objective based on the car.
Right.
So with the Bronco, you have, since it's such a new car and it's made to do this, the thing is, I mean, you have all these modes that basically are here to assist you. So currently what I just did was I shifted it from normal to off-road, and when it does, it'll turn traction control off and it locked the rear differential. Now, the reason you turn traction control off is because you want slippage, or technically
you don't want the car lowering your power out.
Exactly.
That's what cars do when
traction kicks in. It'll start like lowering power. It'll start emitting the throttle and cutting power.
Yeah, kind of like how ABS works, but with a throttle.
Exactly. It's important when you have an off-road vehicle that you want to use as much of the energy of the car as you can, especially when you're moving, because if you stop, you're more likely to get stuck than if you were just moving, which is just, it's how it is. It's just
simple physics.
Yeah. But it is also important, like I said, it depends on the car. Now, if you're driving a 1995 Bronco with four-wheel drive, it's going to be a lot different than this Bronco, because you have four high and four low. That's it. You may have some cars where you can lock the diffs. You may have some cars where you can lock the diffs, but on most older ones, it wasn't a thing unless you were driving like a specifically off-road vehicle.
Right.
So it is very dependent on the car. The Bronco is a great tool. I mean, this thing is made to do this. We just passed another vehicle, and of course, with no issues. I mean, this thing is an absolute beast. It's just, it gets what needs to get done. Now, I'm more of a fan of the Bronco. I know you are too. Yeah, the Jeep is cool, but I think with specifically the Raptor, I mean, this thing is its a natural habitat now. It's where it's supposed to be.
He also mentioned something about a rear locking diff. If you don't know, what a rear locking diff does is basically locks the wheels to move together. In a situation like that, usually what happens in a situation where you get a car stuck and it doesn't have a rear locking differential is it's going to send more power to the wheel with the most traction. If you don't have a locking differential. When you have a rear locking diff or a front locking diff, what's going to happen there is it's going to lock the diff, both sides of the axle together, and send the same amount of power to both wheels. And that is better in an off-road situation like this would be. And like you said, the same thing with traction control. Just make sure in off-road situations, especially sketchy ones, you keep that off. Because you don't want the car limiting your power output. I'm not saying hammer down the throttle.
No, you should not do that.
Faster.
You should not do that.
But make sure that you have it off. That way the car isn't interfering with how much power you want to give it. Now, not that we need to, but let's switch to four-wheel low and see what goes on in that situation.
Now, like Aiden said, most of the time, 99% of the time, if you're off-roading, and again, just use the Bronco Raptor as an example because this is the vehicle we're in. 99% of the time off-road, you're not going to use four-low.
No.
Four-low is a very, kind of like how he said, situational thing.
Right.
So to shift to four-low, you actually have to put the car in neutral because it disconnects some stuff. And what the Bronco will do is it'll turn on the rear camera.
Yeah.
Which I've actually never seen these tracks before, which shows you where you've been, which is cool.
It is cool. I mean, a lot of the reason they do that is because in four-wheel low, like he said, this is a very situational this is a very situational mode. See, with four-wheel low, what's going to happen now is the car is going to prevent it from upshifting into the higher gears, because as you go, if you are a car head and you know how transmissions work, as you go into the higher gears, your torque output actually decreases. So what four-wheel low does is it keeps it in those lower gears to increase torque output, and that way you can get out of stickier situations. Now, most situations you're not going to have to use it. In this one, we definitely don't have to. We'd be fine in four-wheel high or even four-wheel automatic, which is also a really interesting gear mode. We'll go into that in a second. But yeah, it's still carving up this trail right here without any issues. The difference is we're basically limiting it to first gear. Once, if we were to go back into four-wheel high, it's sky's the limit. You want to be in 10th gear in this thing. In four-wheel high, you could be in 10th gear. Right now, it's not going to let us out of first.
No, well, it's in third gear, but it started me in third.
It started, okay, so it starts you in third, but as you can see, as you go up, instead of shifting, it is keeping him stable in third gear because it's maximizing the amount of torque it's putting.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I want you to talk about, because you actually own a car that has this, is people are going to ask, what about all-wheel drive? Because with four-wheel drive, as you guys have seen, I'm able to mess with it. I can put it in 2 high, 4 low, whichever. Now, he has, of course, his 2022 M4 Competition X-Drive, which is BMW's version of all-wheel drive. Right. So you, I want you to talk about it because you have the most experience when it comes to that specific, system.
So all-wheel drive, I think people give a lot more hope to. I think people trust in all-wheel drive more than they really should. So the thing is you wouldn't take an all-wheel drive car into a situation like that. I know all your Subaru heads out there are going to say, oh, that I could take my Forester out there and be fine. Now, the problem with all-wheel drive is the wheels turn differently, the axles are engaged, and the power is displaced differently than four-wheel drive is. Four-wheel drive does help in sketchy weather. And it does help with, if you are driving in snow, you're better off in all-wheel drive than you are in rear-wheel drive.
Yes.
Especially if you have snow tires. But it is not going to be there to save your butt like four-wheel drive will be.
So what do you think, Evo?
Well, it's one thing's for sure, this thing is a beast.
Oh yeah, 100%. It is so capable at everything it does.
Yeah, and I keep slipping, but you guys let us know what you think. Of course, four-wheel drive is probably the best thing for out here. Look at where we're at.
We didn't last 2 minutes in two-wheel drive before it started slipping.
You guys saw that at the beginning of the video. It immediately started slipping and sliding and just going.
And that's not even as bad because down there it had been driven on so much that the roads actually the path had been buried down to basically, well, not paved, but this is all snow up here. So you have a lot greater chance of slipping. And if Evo can't even stand straight without slipping down a mountain, how do you think these mud tires feel? Yeah. So
it's an interesting thing. And then of course, like you talked about with all-wheel drive, I like all-wheel drive. I'm a big fan, especially.
But it's not this.
It's not this. No. This is if you're planning on doing like I wouldn't say hardcore off-roading, but like recreationally like this, you're coming out here on these trails because anybody can come out here.
Right.
This is probably the best, especially if you're out here in this kind of.
Well, like I said, all-wheel drive is a blend between performance and off-road capability. This is purely off-road capability.
Yeah. Yeah, so. This thing's a beast, but you let us know what you think down below. Let us know, of course, what you think of the Bronco Raptor, and then if we missed anything, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more videos from us, make sure you subscribe. The review on this is out, and you guys can go watch it. I'm Aiden.
And I'm Ivo.
Thanks for watching.